And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Sling'N podcast, episode 21. I'm TJ.
And I'm Kent. How we doing?
What's going on, everybody? So, tonight we have a special guest, Matt DeVille.
What's up, guys?
Welcome. Matt is a close friend of mine. You guys might recognize him from my personal channel on Lead Sling and Ginger. I interviewed Matt almost a year ago now at NRA in Indianapolis. So, Matt, why don't you introduce yourself and tell the folks all about you?
All right. I'm Matt DeVille. I'm a account manager with Head Down Firearms. I've been doing this for just about 2 years now, and got in pretty much when the company started, not too far after, and been riding this wave. It's been a good one.
Outstanding. So now everybody that has watched my channel knows that I have reviewed Head Down Firearms many times. So far, I've had some time with your patrol rifle that you offer. I've also had some time with your 12.5-inch Grendel, which was they were both fantastic. So naturally, I'm going to be a little bit biased with this one. So to keep it fair, Kent, you're going to lead the show on this one, brother. So I'm going to let you grill Matt here. Be gentle. He's a kind soul with a good heart. We like him. Yeah, man, you guys are doing great stuff over there. And you guys, I'll let y'all take it away. So Kent, hit him.
I'm the poor guy. You make it sound like you're setting him up to be like steamrolled by some internet asshole.
Well, fear.
I guess you kind of are.
I mean, fear's a motivator, Kent. You know that.
I guess it is. So, Matt, thank you for being on the show. Really appreciate your time tonight. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule. These guys are doing big things at their company. They're actually moving. They're doing a lot of logistical stuff. So, it's nice of them to drop in. It's SHOT Show week. The industry's busy. So we appreciate you taking your time. But before I ask you anything about Head Down or anything else, our first question is always about you. Who are you besides like a gun dude? Are you a dad? Are you a fly fisherman? What about your life is interesting outside of the gun world?
Man, at this point, the gun world is my life.
Yeah.
I'm coming up on 10 years in this industry, and it's pretty much all I do besides, walk around state parks or drink a bunch of Sundrop. Like it's guns pretty much all the time. I'm either on the range for work or I'm on the range for fun.
You can teach me something. Is Sundrop a southern form of tea or some sort of liquor? What are we talking?
Ooh.
What is Sundrop?
I might have to send you a care package. It's like Mountain Dew, but better and indigenous to Tennessee.
Yeah. See, this is that whole every once in a while, TJ will say some shit, and I'm like, I'll bet that's what that is. But those of us who started the war of Northern aggression don't necessarily know these terms all that well, so we have to be careful. Like,
just imagine a Mountain Dew that goes really well with George Dickel whiskey.
Okay, now whiskey. Now you're speaking my language. Got it.
Yeah. Sundrop, in short, is Sundrop's the nectar of the gods. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my pastimes, you can also add cigars and whiskey to that, which is pretty much how I met him. So,
Perfect. Got it. So, you're you mentioned you've been in the industry for like 10 years. I don't want to talk about specific previous employers or anything like that, but have you always been in sales in the industry? Have you been in manufacturing? What kind of stuff have you done before?
Pretty much just sales, online sales, face-to-face sales, inside, outside sales. I've kind of done it all at this point. A little bit of marketing here and there. Cool.
And a fair amount of range time. Everybody that talks about the gun business and talks to me anyway always is like, oh, you're an instructor, you do this, you do that, you must get to shoot all the time. And I'm always like, well, you'd think, but there's a lot of non-glamorous stuff that goes wrong with it. So do you get out as much as you'd like to? Clearly not, but
I don't. Well, I have a range pretty much at my disposal anytime I want. So actually, in this case, I do.
Awesome.
To brag a little bit, I literally just bought a Beretta M9A3, and 7 days later, I have almost 600 rounds through it.
Yes.
So I do, in fact, get to shoot as much as I want to.
I'm on the range 4 days a week, but I spend a lot of time worrying about other people when I'm on the range. Not all the time for myself. So why an M9A3 and not an LTT Elite? Speaking of the nectar of the gods.
It was one of those things that it just popped up and it was too good a deal.
Right.
I was literally saving the money to buy a weird 1941 Japanese Nambu. Of all things. And then all of a sudden, this M9A3 at a really good price in all black. And I
TJ and I are recent Beretta converts, both of us messing around with LTTs.
Oh, I know.
One of us. Yeah, I'm sure you do.
No. So, fun story. I actually bought my LTT from Matt. So he is the contributor to my delinquency.
Perfect. That's perfect. So, Head Down, as I understand it, is a Tennessee/Georgia based. You guys are in the South. You're a firearms manufacturer. You're able to make the claim that your rifle's American made. How many folks are you guys employing down there? Start to finish putting a rifle together. You guys got a bunch of folks out there, or small shop?
It's a pretty small shop. There's all told maybe 15 people involved in the operation.
Yep.
When you receive your Head Down Firearms HD15, it's going to come with a build sheet signed by the one guy who put your rifle together.
Okay.
Unless maybe he had to run to the restroom for an extended amount of time, in which case there'll be a few extra signatures from another dude who is equally qualified. And then it will have been taken out on the range and test fired by one guy who has military experience, knows what he's doing. And you will receive a little accuracy card that shows that gun will shoot a less than inch group at 100 yards. And so it's all, when you have your rifle, it's kind of like getting a Les Bear pistol, when you get that little card signed by all the guys who worked on it. That's what you're getting with an HD15 is it's been worked on by a small select group of folks who are very, well qualified to do their job, and they put all their time and attention into that gun.
It's so nice of you to give an accuracy guarantee, which means that when the rifle comes out, everybody who ever picks it up should be able to shoot one MOA with it, right? Right?
Well,
no?
So here's the thing. We don't do it from like a lead sled or from a ransom rest, with 61 grain hand loaded Wildcat perfection. Like, we're doing it from a $50 Caldwell lead sled and 62 grain Hornady Frontier. And we're doing this, it's not some crazy mechanical process. It's a guy with a dip in leaning behind a rifle on a range in the North Georgia heat.
It's not me, folks. It's not me.
It is completely reproducible results. If you are a competent shooter and you have
that was what I was going for.
Yep.
That was where I was headed. The results are reproducible with that. It's kind of like a McLaren, right? The McLaren will go 200 miles an hour if you can drive it 200 miles an hour.
Exactly.
Right? So one of my pet peeves about this is when I get people all the time. Well, this gun's guaranteed MOA. I'm like, bro, your scope's rattling. It sounds like freaking Santa Claus is walking up the hill. I hear jingle, jingle, jingle when your scope moves. Like, I'm sure the gun will shoot MOA, but will you? And do you have it set up correctly? That's a whole other conversation. So, you guys have, I kind of perused your line, and the way I see it, you have good, or goodest, right? Mm. You guys have some package deals where you offer some actual, what I'm going to call higher end accessories bolted right to the gun. Mm-hmm. I didn't see a lot of bargain basement Black Friday special stuff on there. I saw stuff I would put on my own guns and have in the past. Why don't you talk us through the main differences in your product line from good to gooder to goodest, just real quick.
Okay. Well, I guess quick 1,000-foot overview is we have the Craftsman line and we have the Cornerstone line. The Cornerstone line being the first tier, Craftsman being the next tier up from that. The Cornerstones are going to have ALG triggers in them, whereas the Craftsman have Hyperfire EDTs. The but let me say this real quick. The heart and soul is that barrel. From our OTSS exclusive to our highest end gun, our highest end Craftsman series, they all have the same barrel. So the only thing changing is, like, the Craftsman is going to have a roller cam bolt. The Cornerstone is going to have a standard black nitride bolt. One has an ALG, one has a Hyperfire EDT, but they're both going to have that 1-in-8 twist, chromoly, black nitride coated barrel, that 1-in-8, or sorry, I already said that, 223 Wild, that is going to give you that amount of accuracy, or 224 Valkyrie and 6.5 Grendel or 300 Blackout, which we also offer.
Okay, so you're going 1-in-8 twist, and you're going wild in the chambering.
Mm-hmm.
We can go over to We Like Shooting later and argue whether it's wild or wildy. I still don't know the answer to that question.
I love those guys.
Right? I still have no idea. What made you guys? What made the decision to go to a wild chambering as opposed to a 5.56?
With our accuracy guarantee, we needed something that you were going to be able to achieve that level of accuracy with just about anything you ran through that gun. And a 223 Wild is what gave us that ability, at least in the 223 5.56 guns, to be able to run, pretty much any weight and grain of 223 or 5.56 with a very small deviation in accuracy.
And that's why you chose the middle of the 1-in-8. You went middle of the road with the 1-in-8 as well. That makes sense. I get it.
Yeah. Because we wanted people to be able to do, not everybody can go and get a 500 round box of 77 grain kangaroo killers. Sometimes all that you got at your local gun shop is 55 grain. And we want that guy to be able to shoot just as accurate as the guy who is, hand loading his weird space ammo. So,
gotcha. Talk to me about your gas system. Is there anything proprietary going on in the gas system, or
nope,
it's very standard?
DI gas system with a pin gas block.
Okay. So no proprietary like mid-length plus or mid-length plus plus. I know some other manufacturers do stuff like that.
No, nothing's crazy.
Nothing special. What about gas port sizes? Are they standard gas port sizes, or would you call your rifle over or under gassed?
No, they're standard.
Are they? Okay. One of the things that another well-known manufacturer is often criticized for is overgassing their rifles, so the dudes can run Wolf or Tula or freaking God knows what through the gun. So you guys aren't overgassing the gun.
No, we're not overgassing the gun. I have run Wolf and Tula through them. I will say that we're not like some manufacturers that will say that will void our lifetime warranty, which we do have, by the way. But we will tell you that you might need to replace some extractors, as you do with any gun firing steel ammo.
Yep.
But no, if you can imagine it, and it's commercially available, we've run it through our guns and haven't experienced any issues with them.
And I saw you were running H3 buffers.
Mm-hmm.
So that, it's adding up. What I know about speccing out a rifle correctly anyway is adding up. What do you find as far as your muzzle devices and how that plays into the overall shooting experience of the gun? You guys made some muzzle device choices. Mm-hmm. I noticed.
We've gone through a few. We have used the Surefire War Comps. We've used the Yankee Hill Phantoms, which were really great. We are currently using the Rugged 3-prongs. Since Rugged is becoming a very well-known, very popular suppressor brand, we wanted to give people that option.
Awesome. And you're either running Hyperfire or Geisley. It's kind of hard to,
right.
That's Ford or Chevy or whatever. There's going to be some guy that on the forums right now that's, wearing his Hyperfire underwear and somebody else is wearing his Geisley underwear, and they're pounding away on M4 carbine, if that still is even online. And just, Hyperfire's better. No, Geisley's better, but they're both quality, clearly.
Yeah, they're both quality. One Most of our law enforcement geared guns are going to have the ALGs in them.
Yep.
That's what has been requested. That's what people seem to like. They work just fine. I mean, I own 2 of the guns myself. I run the heck out of them. I have no complaints about either trigger.
Awesome. Something I attach myself to being a left-handed shooter of a rifle. I liked seeing the ambi stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are calling out ambi. Some guys are all about that. Some guys aren't. But you're giving us the opportunity to have ambi stuff set up from the factory, so that's nice.
Yeah. If you don't want ambi, call us up. Tell us you don't want ambi. Like,
yeah, it's not that hard, right?
Yeah, we're very customer oriented. If you have a special request, if it's doable, call me up and I'll make it happen.
Awesome. So you hit on something else there. You mentioned lifetime warranty.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know TJ is one of your customers. Have you reconsidered your lifetime warranty strategy after getting to know him at all, or are we still doing this?
No, I haven't had anybody, absolutely destroy any of our guns or send them back to us on a regular basis. We haven't experienced any large issues or recalls or anything crazy like that. Generally, most things we see are very small, and we can usually just send a part. Like, somebody doesn't know how cotter pins work and took their gun apart after 50 rounds and is surprised that the cotter pin isn't going back in there. Something like that, and we'll send them, a box of new cotter pins. But we haven't had any catastrophic failures or anything of that nature.
Okay. So the little thing, this is kind of a, you can get real deep and in the weeds with like the little things on AR builds, and I'm not even sure what's right or what right is anymore, right? Because the industry, everybody and their brother has their own version of what's right, and there's one dude slamming the mil spec banner, and then there's the next dude going, yeah, mil spec was meant to be the minimum standard, like we can get beyond that. There's all this stuff. What would you say, like in the level of attention to detail with your rifles? What would you say you guys do differently than your 3 main competitors?
Well, you actually kind of said it, attention to detail.
Okay.
The fact that each gun is looked after by, 1 to 2 guys, and then looked over again by a supervisor, goes out to a range, is shot by a competent shooter who makes sure that there's no bugs in the gun. If there's any problem with the gun goes back to the drawing board. It never goes out for sale. And this is every single gun. This isn't 1 in 10. This isn't, 1 out of a batch. This is every single one of these rifles is being, seen through from the beginning to the, the sales, which is the end of its life with us, by a very small group of people. We do everything above industry standard, from, how we install and torque the barrel to, the installation of, any minor part. It's all extreme attention to detail, extreme quality control, and that's what we're very proud of. We know that our guns right now are in the hand of a lot of law enforcement agencies, officers, departments, and people are depending on our guns to stay alive, to get home to their kids at night. And that makes it easier, corny, but that really is how we look at it. Is these aren't guns that are being bought to, $500 guns that are going in the closet, getting shot 200 rounds a year at the range and call it a day. Like, these are defending people's livelihoods. So we put a lot of care into it.
So to be clear, we're not batch testing. We're not serial number range testing. We're not 1 out of 20, 1 out of 50, 1 out of 100.
This is every, and I was remiss when I was grabbing all my visual aids here, as I did not grab a accuracy card, though I could go and get here one shortly. But every gun is going to come with that accuracy card showing you what that gun, specifically that gun, did at 100 yards with 62 grain Hornady Frontier.
Can I request a chew stain on the accuracy card so I know it was shot by the guy with the dip in?
Absolutely.
That just would make me feel really nice. So you brought it up. This kind of goes back to a philosophical discussion about what is your gun for. And don't get me wrong, I like having fun as much as the next guy. I've got race car guns, I've got vintage guns, I've got fun guns, I've got Dad's guns from when he passed. I've got all this stuff, right? Predominantly, the stuff I care about the most is what I'm going to call a work gun, something I'm going to teach with, or something I'm going to defend my house and my family with. So the philosophical change of like, what is your company making these guns for, right? Because there's a lot of rifle companies that specialize in 3-gun rifles.
Mm-hmm.
And like, hey man, God bless you. Like I love a good Nordic Components rifle. They make some amazing stuff, right? They really, really do. I don't know if they're really geared towards a patrol officer or towards a mill setting or towards me as a serious home end user. So you guys do a lot with mill and with LE sales. Being a company in its infancy, 2 years, I would say is like a newer company on the block. How do you find the reception is from these when you go out to a range day or a demo day and there's the big 3 or big 4 out there, and then here comes Matt with his box of goodies. Like, how's it been?
Well, so here's one big thing about us, and I talked about the law enforcement. We also do gear a lot of our guns toward hunters. I've taken some of our guns hunting too. A lot of us have. We have 3-gun shooters that shoot our gun. We have all kinds of competitors, but the OTG line. That was designed by Bill Toy, the lead instructor at OTG Tactical. They're an instructing company for law enforcement contractors. He also teaches like permit classes and stuff like that, but his primary focus is training contractors and agents. And we went to him for the builds on those guns. He has a litany of law enforcement and military experience. And we went to him and said, what would you need as a patrol officer? What would you need as a contractor or infantryman to secure and guarantee your success in a engagement with this firearm? And using that is what we use to build the OTG rifles. So I have a leg up when I walk out onto one of these range days for a department. Is generally when I show them this gun, I bring it out and they say, "Oh my God, that's exactly what we would have built. Like that is the way we would have put that gun together." And so that's kind of an advantage for me is we have somebody with a lot of experience helping us put our builds together, and then we listen is the other thing. I was doing a demo for one of our popular products, the SRO bag, the School Resource Officer bag, and we had mounted to the frame on the Kydex frame in that backpack were mag carriers. And he said, "Well, that's really cool. You can have extra mags in your bag, but why don't you make it so that you could like Velcro them in there, rip them out, and then clip them onto your belt?" Okay, so we did it, and they received that, and now that's standard on all of those bag system products. So we're listening to what the law enforcement officers are telling us. We're listening to what the competitors and the hunters are telling us, and we're bringing them those products accordingly.
That's awesome. Something I just realized as I'm looking closer at these guns. You're speccing in the OTG gun, you're speccing an HD M-Lock rail. So is that a proprietary rail?
It's ours.
It's your rail. Not proprietary in the sense that there's a special attachment method, like I can swap it out for something else if I want.
No.
Right.
Yeah, it's a standard M-Lock.
Okay. Interesting. So you guys have maybe you don't want to answer. I don't know. Is this OEM'd for you by another company I'm familiar with?
Yeah.
This rail? Okay.
Yeah, they're Samson.
Oh, it's a Samson rail. Okay. Yeah. I just couldn't tell. It looks like it's bigger than it looks like its outer diameter is bigger than I would think it would be, but maybe I'm just overly zoomed in.
That's what she said.
Yeah. No. Okay. So Samson's doing your rail. Well, those are nice, obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean, the way these guys have their folks, for those of you who are on on podcast. HDfirearms.com is where you're going to get this stuff and be able to pull it up. And I'm literally sitting here on my computer screen clicking rifle by rifle. And what I'm noticing is they're offering their product line either as a predominantly set up package, like pretty much this is what you need to run this gun. Here's your light. Here's your sling swiggles. Here's your sling swivels. Here's your trigger. Here's everything you might need. And it's all good to go. Or you can buy the stripped out gun and you can play Legos and put whatever that version of stuff you want on there. Talk to me a little bit, Matt, about and I don't want to play the commodity game in sales, but talk to me a little bit about your price, because I'm noticing that you're price competitive on the guns that are built with the accessories.
Yeah, we like you said, I don't like to say we're a company in our infancy, but we pretty much are. And 2 years, we are not relying on a name to sell our guns. We have to rely solely on a great customer service experience and then, a product that backs that up. And so we wanted to make our guns comparable, if not better in quality than most of the high-end guns on the market, while being at a price point that, most of us can afford if we save a little bit here and there, maybe eat some ramen 1 or 2 days of the week. But, you're looking at a price point of between $1,200 to, let's say, $1,800 for most of the guns. You can get up to $2,500 on some of the more expensive duty geared systems. But, like I said, you can get into one of our guns for $1,200. Like the OTSS exclusive, which you get through On Target Shooting Sports, is as low as it's under $800. So we're making rifles for most price points here, and without sacrificing any quality.
So you brought up a good opportunity to pivot. You mentioned On Target Shooting Sports. For those that don't know, On Target Shooting Sports is the retail outlet that these folks own. That is there. You guys got retail there. You got a range there. Mm-hmm. You obviously have some really good security cameras because you let TJ in, so that's always good. And then you guys.
I will fess up that Matt has seen me coming from the parking lot and met me in the parking lot. Like,
they're good cameras, yeah.
Yes.
Just he's doing that to be like, "Hi, TJ, let's talk out here," so the real customers don't see you. Come around the So they've got a retail outlet there as well as a rifle manufacturing company. So. On Target Shooting Sports is located where in Tennessee?
Murfreesboro.
Murfreesboro, okay. That's right next to I don't know, and where the hell is that? It's right in between.
What would you say, Matt? About 30 minutes east of Nashville?
Yeah, southeast of Nashville.
That's where all that country music is, right?
Yeah, all that stuff. I would know.
Right. So you guys, you operate a range out there. You do some classes, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Gun rentals.
Yep.
Awesome. Very cool. So
side note real quick, I do want to plug this because Carrie Davis is a friend of the podcast. Matt, I put you and Carrie in contact. Hopefully we're going to have Dark Angel Medical coming out there here in the near future to host a class. That's going to be a good time. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, we actually have a classroom where I currently am right now. They were nice enough to let me hang out here, and that's where I'm doing the podcast from. But and you talked earlier, Kent, about moving, and we are moving to Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. So we'll have both operations kind of local.
That's really cool. So I'm a stickler. I'm just kind of a sucker for an American company, right? Like that's pretty cool. Like we're all old school gun guys. We're all roughly about the same age, I would imagine. But yet, those of us who are tend to be kindred spirits in the gun world care about these things still. You don't find too many dudes in their 30s or 40s that give a shit about whether something was made in the U.S. or not, or whatever like that. But we do.
We are a U.S. company. We have U.S. parts in our guns, 100%, American made, and then we have a lot of veterans in our operation as well. So we I like to think of ourselves as pretty patriotic, and we're trying to provide some good rifles, especially to law enforcement and contractors and agencies that support their mission and help them come home at night.
Do you have a pet bald eagle that you keep in the store or shop?
I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah, I think maybe
they make me stand in the middle of the aisle and screech.
Yeah. I said we have some like pet bald people. Like I'm getting there pretty.
Yeah.
But no eagles yet.
No. So no, go ahead, TJ. Hit it.
No. So I've got a question. So we've talked about Head Down, guys. It's no secret. I love this company. Matt and all the guys that work for Head Down and On Target Shooting Sports are fantastic people. I will not hesitate to call out a gun store or gun range or manufacturer if I think they're garbage, right? Or if I think, even if they make a great product and the people are not there and the customer service is not there, we're not gonna jive well, right? Every time I've gone to hang out with you, Matt, I've always felt welcome. Everybody in the store is fantastic. Everybody for Head Down has been fantastic. So I can't emphasize or wave the Head Down flag enough for how awesome you guys have done. But I am curious if we could shift gears here a little bit, just speaking to your time in the industry. As many of you might know, SHOT Show 2020 is going on out in lovely Las Vegas. I was not cool enough to make it this year, but with that being said, one of the things that has always kind of left me scratching my head is every time you watch the footage from all the other YouTubers and content creators out there, you're always seeing new widgets and gizmos and an abundance of AR-15s, right? It is, and I've said it before, America's rifle, rightfully so. But Matt, what I'm really curious about is, with such a flooded market, what are some of the things that you have seen that, I don't want to say other manufacturers or maybe or creators are doing it wrong, but where do you think that the industry for AR-15s as a whole is maybe lacking a little bit? Maybe where can they do things better? What are some of the things that turn you on about new products and stuff that are coming out?
Well,
what turns you on, Matt?
It's getting weird.
Kent took it there. Damn it.
For me, a big thing is I was not aware until I started working for Head Down that an AR-15 could achieve this degree of accuracy. And not trying to be super sales guy again, but it's just something I'd never associated with. I had a couple AR-15s. I have a Colt FP1 that I shoot for fun all the time. And, they're minute of paper plate guns to me. And then I started working for Head Down, and I started seeing these, 100-yard groups that I could cover with a dime, and just absolutely couldn't believe it. And it opened the AR-15 up to me as a gun that could be used not only for competition, long range shooting, hunting, like all these applications that I thought it was just a battle rifle. And I like companies that show me that it can, that it's not always a battle rifle. So that's what we try to do. And whenever I see a company come out with something that, is a hard use product that still maintains a high degree of accuracy, that's what I like to see.
No, fantastic. Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I mean, very rarely do I see any of this footage that where they're showcasing a product and I'm just like, wow, that's really cool. It's like, oh, wow, you found a new way to anodize a mag release button.
Right.
Good job. Right. Yeah. So, no, that's, and, I hadn't actually even given it much thought, but now that you mention it, you're right. Accuracy in the AR-15 platform, and Kent, I think you'd even agree with me on this. I mean, we're all so quick to dismiss it as mil-spec, right? For those of you that don't know, mil-spec for accuracy or precision standards are 2 MOA. So 2-inch groups at 100 yards is considered good enough for the United States government, right? Yep. So actually seeing a company, or any company for that matter, that's taken the time to prove that Kent, as you mentioned earlier, we don't have to stick with mil-spec. That is a bargain basement standard. and we can do better. So that's a very good point. It's a very good
And
point.
the important thing too is like I want that accuracy, but I want it in a gun that I can beat the snot out of.
Mm-hmm.
Like, cool, you can show me a gun that will shoot, sub MOA at 100 yards, but it, has to be set up on the Hubble Space Telescope, shooting, 77 grain kangaroo killers, and if a butterfly lands on the barrel, the whole thing explodes. Like, it doesn't do anything for me because
It's got one hell of a mental image at a local range. At a local range I just went to, where something similar happened. But continue.
But yeah, I mean, I could make a gun that was accurate all day long and then hand it to a law enforcement officer and he throws it in a mud puddle. I cry and the thing breaks. Like, we're not helping anybody at that point. So, not just us. Anytime a company brings out something that is, street or battlefield tested and also can, because, I mean, let's be honest, we're making these guns, people are using them in the line of duty. Accuracy is kind of important if you are talking about like an active shooter situation. We made our SRO package gun for school resource officers. God forbid the weapon ever has to be used in that situation. But if you are firing a rifle caliber weapon in a building with a bunch of people running and screaming past it, you really want to be accurate. The results are nothing short of tragic if you're not. And so we needed a gun that did that, and that's what I want to see from other manufacturers as well.
So interesting that I'm looking at your SRO package. Never mind. I was gonna make a smart ass joke about the rifle absolutely had to be able to carry the officer into the building because he was gonna stand outside and watch it happen, but I won't go there.
Smart ass joke about you looking at my package, but I'm glad you went that
direction. Oh, good. I like that better. That's way better.
And mic drop, folks. That's all we have mic for tonight.
No, the SRO is actually, it's an interesting setup because you guys you've done a lot to make this short, compact, and light. That makes a lot of sense. And that bag,
you know what's really crazy? That 10.5-inch gun still shoots MOA or better at 100 yards.
What's the twist rate in that barrel?
1 in 8.
1 in 8. No shit. I could look this up myself. Yeah. Receiver tensioning device. That's interesting. You have like a shim or something?
Yeah, well, there's a tensioning screw in all of our receivers, so that you can keep that upper lower fit. Near. If you pick up one of our guns, it feels monolithic. You would be hard pressed to not feel like that it's one piece. They're fit very well.
Very cool. And you've got it in like that looks like a tennis bag or something, a gym bag.
Yeah, it's one of the Mystery Ranch Urban Assault packs.
Interesting story behind that.
You want me to tell the story?
Segue. I was trying to help.
Okay. So we had originally designed the system to go into a large Vertex bag, and we had put everything possible into this bag. There were drones, there were med kits, there were plates, armor plates. Everything possible was in this bag.
If you send me a bag with a rifle and a drone in it, we are automatically best friends, and I'm betrothed for life.
Really cool Call of Duty stuff.
Yes,
and we were so pumped about it. And it was my first law enforcement demo with this department out of Alabama, and we show up with this giant bag and all this cool stuff in it, and they're like, "Well, that's too big." Like, yeah, but this is the bag and it does this. Like, well, that doesn't help our school resource officer. And so we're sitting there trying to figure out, how to save this. And they look over, and I had brought a guy with me to do the demo, and he had brought his lunch in a Mystery Ranch bag. And they were like, "Can it go in that bag?" We're like, "Well, no, that's his lunch. It wasn't designed to go in that bag. We want it in that bag." So we're over there like dumping out this Mystery Ranch bag, like apples and oranges and Subway sandwiches are coming out of this thing. And then we're cramming a 10.5-inch pistol into it. And lo and behold, it fit. and they put in an order right then and there. And that's how it is in its current configuration, was because my coworker decided to bring his lunch in a Mystery Ranch bag that day. But it worked really well, and we built a Kydex insert for the Mystery Ranch bag that holds the gun in there securely without it moving around. It has a extra Velcro slot on the side for mag carriers that you can rip off and pop onto your belt. Like I said, as per it was a police chief's suggestion. So it has become it has evolved into a very small, compact, and discreet product.
That's really, really cool. That's a neat idea. So the SRO programs, like the law enforcement officers, by the way, this is a north-south thing. This is a difference. And I know I make a lot of north-south jokes. But for all my Northeast and New England and Pennsylvania people, the sheriff's offices in the South aren't screwing around in their SRO programs, and they are actually spinning up to like do some work with their equipment. It is not a retirement field for the dude who just got off light duty and is only going to be on the force for another 2 weeks. There are a lot of school districts in the South where they're abso-effing-lutely serious about their SRO program, and I wish everybody would be. I mean, I love what you said about med kits in that bag. I'd like to see a med kit in there or on that guy or whatever. That's not obviously like it's not your job to dress the whole officer off, but hopefully he's got med stuff. But man, having a cop equipped like that certainly beats the shit out of some guy with his Glock 23 and a prayer, right? Like,
yeah,
you're way more effective.
Absolutely, and that's the thing is, they need a gun that is accurate, but you can't walk into the school that you're going to work at as an SRO looking like you're about to go to Fallujah. You can't have your M4 strapped across your chest, or all the people in the bus rider line are about to lose their minds. So this is a way for them to discreetly carry that firearm to their office and then lock it up in a locker. Or, if they're at a sporting event, pep rally, something like that, the officer can be, over in the corner with this bag on. There's a lot of applications for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tell you what, though, those kids will quit running them damn hallways. Oh, shit. Officer Smith means business today, kids.
Smith brought the saw again. Everybody go back.
Yeah. He comes in with like a burlap sack tied around his waist, like First Blood. I'm sorry, deputy. I won't be late again.
Yeah, you the hallway without a pass. I'll give you a war. You won't believe.
Yeah.
Where's your hall pass? I just wanted some food. Yeah. No. So Kent, what you said actually about the SRO programs, at least here in the South, you ain't lying, man. I've talked to, I'm very, very involved in my kid's school. At least to the extent of having open lines of communication, maintaining those lines of communication with administrators and, of course, the SRO. God forbid we have another incident with like Parkland, but definitely, God forbid, we have another incident like that where the law enforcement officer refuses to act, right? So I will tell you this, man. You are not lying. They take this shit seriously. Usually, at least the way they've handled it in our county, the person selected for the school resource officer is usually one of the top performers in that department. Now, I will say that sometimes they might swap out from, sheriff's department to city police department, right? I don't know how they're working that, probably like some type of a rotational shared responsibility basis, right? But yeah, you go talk to that guy. He's squared away. He's probably one of the better cops in a department in order to get that position because they hold it with pride and to the level of importance that it is. I mean, you talk to any cop, hey, what would you rather be doing? Protecting children or dealing with the same drunk asshole every Friday night? And they'll be like, no, I want to protect the kids, right? They take it very seriously. So, yeah.
Especially in Tennessee and Georgia. I mean, your kids go to school those whole 14 years. So that's real important to make sure that there's
You're a dick.
I love it. I love it. No, I'm just kidding. So let's talk about using these rifles a little bit. Have you guys gotten, being a company that's 2 years old, have you guys gotten high round counts from end users back on your product yet? In any real serious, like, are there a lot of me's out there that are coming to you being like, so when's my barrel war out? And you're like, yeah, right. You're like, no, when's my barrel war out? Like, you haven't that yet?
No. So we have. There's been a few burn down tests. A couple are actually made it onto YouTube. A couple other folks doing them. There was, and I hope I'm getting the count correctly. There's been a lot of law enforcement trials of these guns where they do burn down tests. I can't say exactly what departments. Some of them are still in testing with them, but there was a law enforcement shoot day in Tennessee where we were debuting the OTG patrol rifle. And over the course of a day, three of these guns, between the three of them, shot 8,000 rounds.
8,000 or 8,000?
8,000. Yeah.
That's a respectable day of work for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Like from 7 a.m. to like 9 p.m. They were shooting at night. And none of those guns failed. There was no issues. Like one of them, a different light that we were using at the time, like the light burned out because I couldn't handle it, but the guns ran fine all day long, dirty as hell. The guns got shipped back to me, of course, to clean, and that was a really fun day. I was very upset, but they performed perfectly. We had another law enforcement trial where they ran one of our guns with a suppressor on it. I do not remember the round count, but the suppressor melted off of the gun. And it was I won't say the name of the company, it was a high-end suppressor. So these guns have been ridden really hard. I don't have a round count for barrel failure just because we haven't seen it happen yet. We have a couple of guns that are thousands of rounds.
I would imagine you hadn't seen barrel failure yet because, I'm talking about a gun that's going to have 30K on it before the end of this year.
Yeah.
That gun's barrel is getting to be shot out, right?
Yeah.
And I'm a more aggressive end user than most. I didn't burn down test that gun. That's just 3-4 years of classes and whatever else. 3.5 years of classes actually. So, it's good to see companies stand up to those tests of time. I can't wait to hear like five years.
Hey, Kent, we're getting the robot voice from you, bud.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about the interruption, folks. Every now and then YouTube likes to cramp our style and mute Kent. So
I saw Terminator. This is how it starts.
Yeah, Skynet, I'm telling you.
Is that better?
Yeah, we got you back now, buddy.
Did I sound better in robot voice, or did I sound better for real?
No, unintelligible screeching.
I figure that's what happens when I'm like asking too many questions and TJ hits the screw up Kent's audio feed button.
I haven't finished coding that yet. Give me some time.
There's just a picture of me. So we've talked a lot about the work guns, the duty guns, and all that kind of stuff. We've got a little more time here yet. You guys built some guns that are like some. What do you build? A Grendel? You build a 6.5? What other offerings do you have?
6.5 Grendel, 300 Blackout, and 224 Valkyrie. Though that's more of a special order thing. But the Grendel has gotten extremely popular here lately, and especially with hunters. I mean, we've gone out and had some fun with the 6.5 Grendel, taking some deer in East Tennessee, and then the 300 Blackout is always a good time suppressed. Most of what I do is with the 223s because that's generally what agencies and departments are looking for. But we have had a couple pick up the Grendels as a long range platform.
Huh. Interesting. You guys don't offer like at least I'm not seeing one. There's not a hunter specific package here, right? There's not a.
There is not. That's generally, the craftsman guns would be used for that. Though also, we're very customer oriented. If you call me and say, "Hey, I don't see this gun on your website. I would like to see about making one in this configuration. See what I can do."
So, I'd like to see one wrapped in Muddy Girl camo with a Browning logo on it. And I'm sorry, I'm making other manufacturers again. Never mind. I'm just being me over here. Just oh look, it's a Hunter package. It's wrapped in Muddy Girl.
Yeah. Right.
Kent being the quintessential shit stirrer that he is.
It's
why we love you, buddy.
Yeah, no, I am. You got some visual aids there. You want to show off your visual aids?
Oh, I was just putting it back up. I had it out because I heard the Terminator's coming and got excited.
Yeah, Skynet is our panic word. I should have refrained from using it.
That's funny. So what's on that gun? Is that your personal gun, or what do you have there?
No, this is one of the standard OTG guns, as it is when you order it, with the 3-prong rugged Streamlight ProTac HL1 weapon light with the pressure pad, flip up front and rear locking iron sights, Vortex Spark red dot, though we do offer one that's optics ready, the BCM gunfighter stock and grip. The sling points there. I don't have the Blue Force Gear Vickers sling with me that it comes with, but it does come with that. The ALP trigger, as you can see there.
Yeah, so for those playing the home game, literally everything that Kent and I have mentioned that you should be putting on your rifle is on that one.
Yeah.
So, real quick, because the one I did my testing on was completely stripped down. We did that on purpose. But you guys are using actual metal sights for your irons, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they're HD branded. Flip up front and rear locking irons. They're pretty damn sturdy.
Yeah. So now, folks, that might seem like a really simple, arguably stupid question, but when you talk about companies that are trying to be customer oriented and maintain that affordability, a lot of the times you'll see them cut corners and they will find plastic sights. And I'll be honest, I run some plastic sights as backup, quote unquote, irons on my guns. But it's one thing when it's a gun that I put together and I'm just going to use it and it's just there for whatever reason. It's another thing when, again, to the points that Matt has made, they make these guns for hard use. Usually when you see a company starts throwing real metal iron sights on their guns, you're going to see the price point jack up substantially. So that's really just it's kind of one of those hidden testaments, where you guys tell me like, oh, you're saving me all this money, but you're still focused on quality. Why are we using something that can melt as a sighting system, right? So just food for thought, folks. Food for thought.
I didn't know that those bumpy things, those are sights. Is that what those are?
For the non-visually impaired, yes.
Okay. Those things, I thought they were just never mind. Okay.
Yeah, so when you pick up a rifle without an optic on it and you just see that big blob on top of it that's blocking or obstructing your vision to your target, those are really your sights, Kent. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm blind as a bat. Thank God for red dots on pistols. I'll tell you.
When you tell Kent to front sight focus, he's like, "What?
This has sights on it?
Wait, what is focus?
Yeah, what is that? That F word that you just used?
Yeah,
I'm shooting a blurry brown thing down there. Is that what I'm supposed to?
Yeah, exactly.
So, I have another good question. I think maybe we could get some dirt that SHOT Show or the industry or nobody else has been able to break. But Matt tonight is going to tell us what the next product is that they're releasing, and they're not going to tell anybody else about. What's the future of the company look like? Are you guys going to be a pistol company someday, or you're going to start making knives or flashlights or concealment furniture? You don't know?
No, I know. I just can't tell you.
Right. All right.
It's too hot for SHOT Show. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to branch out? Are you always going to be a rifle company?
There's a lot of possibilities on the table. We've done some things in the past with pistols. We're no longer currently doing them. Man, yeah, I can't tell you, but there's some cool stuff in the works for a little ways down. Right now, we're going to stay focused on the rifles. That is, that's our bread and butter. It's what we're really good at. But there is a very large manufacturing facility that we're moving into in Tennessee. The sky will kind of be the limit there.
You heard it here first, folks. They're going to be making the SIG X5 Legion with a 2-inch grip and a 17-inch long slide.
Jesus Christ.
We're going to be making the Pancore jackhammer. That's it. You heard it here.
There you go.
The sad thing is I literally got a visual on what a 2-inch grip X5 17-inch long slide. Jesus.
Right?
Oh my God.
You're uncomfortable.
With that, so before we shift gears here and talk about our other topic, there was one thing that I wanted us to talk about. And Matt, this is something you and I really actually haven't talked about all that much in all the time we've known each other. So you guys do a lot of marketing or targeting of law enforcement agencies to pick up those contracts, as most respectable rifle manufacturers do, or equipment manufacturers in general do, right? Law enforcement's a big business, understandably. What I'm really curious about is some of the feedback that you guys have gotten from those law enforcement agencies about the rifles themselves. We've talked about the guy who's like, hey, we want, poor guy's lunch, right? We want that bag. But what's some of the reviews been from the guys on the ground, so to speak, when they're testing these rifles and actively comparing them to other things on the line?
Yeah, I'll tell you the biggest feedback I get is just ordering more of them. Usually,
that is the number one salesman answer. I effing love that answer. Perfect.
Perfect. Honestly, there's a few departments that I have to reach back out to, see how things are going. Usually, they are always, very good reviews, but most of the time, I just hear back from these guys after a couple months. Hey, we just got a new guy on the force. We need another one of these. So clearly you like them. I like that. As far as, I don't want to name other manufacturers, but generally when I take these things out to the shows or to the shoots and they're picking them up and they're saying, hey, this is lighter than so-and-so. This is a lot more accurate. I like this midweight barrel profile. I like the fact that it comes with this streamline. I like that it's already got the BCM furniture that we put on all of our guns. And then there are some departments where they have, we have to have this specific furniture on this gun, so we'll make a line of them with their furniture that they like. But and this isn't just the salesman answer, but I haven't heard anything but positive reviews of any of the rifles that have, I don't know what use they've seen. I don't know what, hopefully they haven't gotten in any bad situations. And if they have, they've gotten an officer out of them. But it's been nothing but positive.
That's fantastic, man. That really says something. Not only when it's one thing to make a sale, it's another thing to repeat a sale to the same client, right? Every time somebody renews a contract or asks for more, that's always a good. I think it's a pretty damn good litmus test, truthfully. But with that, we did want to talk about at least one other topic while we were here tonight. So, of course, Matt, this is all going to be personal opinion. This is Matt DeVille talking. We're going to absolve any sponsor or company that any one of us might represent from these next talking points. But recently, as you guys saw, as the world saw, there's been a lot of shit going down in Virginia, right? 22,000, I think, was the last count that I heard of armed, responsible citizens showing up to lobby against anti-gun laws that are sadly have been passed anyway. But I'd really like to kind of get your thoughts on it, not just personally, but maybe some observations on what that has kind of done to the gun industry, right? Because the central argument for all of this gun legislation, or anti-gun legislation, I should say, seems to be fueled by or focused around America's love for the AR-15 platform. For those that have been asleep for the past hour, that's kind of what Head Down Firearms specializes in. Right? So, But yeah, so let's get this ball rolling, man. So first of all, what did you think about the lobby? How all that went down? What are your thoughts on the matter?
And again, this is me. This is not Head Down, but I think that the message was beautiful. That many people turned out, and from all walks of life is what really got to me. It was what I wanted to see. It was, the media's out there saying, "Oh, it's nothing but white supremacists and Nazis are going to show up to this rally, and they're there to, exacerbate the whole situation and make everybody angry." Well, it's hard to say that when you have the, 50 African American gun owners walking with AR-15s on this side of the street, and they end up linking up and smoking and joking with the pink pistols or the LGBT gun owners over here, while these guys, they're, the rednecks, the classic rednecks, are over here smoking cigarettes and hanging out with the guys from up north. Like, it was all of the gun owners in the country were represented there, and it was done peacefully. Everybody got along, and they showed that we're not here under some banner of violence or anything like that. We're literally here just to protect our rights and to keep our rights sovereign. And that's what I wanted to see, and that's exactly what I saw. And it seemed to disappoint the media almost that it didn't go the way that I think they wanted it to. But I think it was a good message. It was all done peacefully and legally, and it showed that we're a country that's at its heart united, and that we do care about our rights as a people.
Right. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Nothing brought me more joy in watching that whole thing, because let's be honest here. We knew that particular local government, that legislature, was going to pass that shit anyway, right? Yeah. But I think what the most joy I got, so I got 2 points out of it that I thought were probably the most interesting, or at least like the most heartwarming to me. One, 22,000, deplorable gun-owning neo-Nazis that happen to be of all different races, colors, creeds, and sexual preferences, left an area cleaner than they found it. And there were countless media, news reporters who were walking around like someone just kicked their dog. It was so much Schadenfreude, I think, is when you take pleasure in somebody else's disappointment and misery. It's a beautiful thing. But Kent, you actually released a pretty good video on Green Mountain Defense talking about your thoughts. Since the dust has kind of settled, has your opinion on the matter changed? Have you observed anything else that you maybe wanted to speak to, or anything like that? Like, what are your thoughts now that we're about a week after the fact?
Is it too soon to make a joke? I don't think it is.
No.
So, are we surprised that the place was clean after the pink pistols went through? They put up curtains, man. Are you kidding me? That place was better than it started. They like redesigned the whole place. It was like Queer Eye for the Gun Guy. It was awesome. You know what? I'm so absolutely entirely sick of false narratives on all sides of media. And this is not immune to the gun issue. This whole, terrorism in the streets, and there's going to be bloodshed, and the governor needs help, and oh my God, we got to mobilize the National Guard, and blah, 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 blah. Are you kidding me? It was like a Boy Scout rally. These dudes literally, from one end to the other, spotless presentation when the place was done with. It looked better than they found it. Everybody was treated with respect. No news reporters were sworn at, thrown at, punched at. There was no Molotov cocktails. There was no cars on fire. There was none of that terrible stuff. And I'm not trying to cast dispersions here, but I guess in some ways I am. I remember when the Baltimore riots just happened, not back a couple years ago, and the mayor and all them in Baltimore were saying, "Well, give them their space, let them have their space to protest." and they trashed the place. People's cars got broken into. People's businesses got looted. Things got ruined. Things got stolen. Things got burned. You tell me who the bad guys are. So, this didn't happen the way they wanted it to happen. As far as the video I put out, my whole premise of that video was to give kudos to the folks from the VCDL who did an amazing job getting 22,000 people to show up to a gun rally, right? I hate saying this, but getting people to show up to anything, the only thing I'm going to say that's not going to be popular and nobody's going to like to hear is, man, if every one of y'all Virginia citizens would have showed up to vote, you wouldn't have had to show up to clean the place up after you had your rally. And in many cases in that demographic, I'm preaching to the choir because I have friends in the training community in Virginia, and I know those people are very active politically, but man, y'all got to get out and vote. It just has to happen. None of us want to a man and woman. Nobody that I know who's into guns, and especially nobody that I know who's into guns and has been downrange and sees what happened when there really is a war. Nobody wants civil war. This Boogaloo thing, this is a fun joke for the internet. It's funny for some Facebook and Instagram memes. I damn sure don't want my new baby son to grow up in a country with a civil war. That's ridiculous. But at the same time, I guess I'd rather get it over with now than wait till he's my age to have to deal with it. So, that's the way it is, I'm afraid. And the politicians are going to learn at one point or another that they're not going to be able to infringe on people's civil rights. And we're not going to take it. And yes, gun ownership is a civil right. And yes, God damn it, it is a universal civil right. And this rally showed that. The Pink Pistols, all joking aside, those are some great folks. If anybody really needs to be able to protect themselves, I think things like the Pulse nightclub shooting show us that that's a demographic of people who might be likely to get preyed upon. And maybe, yeah, it'd be really good if that those guys and girls had some med kits and had some Glocks and had some skills and had some knowledge. I certainly think it would be. So, yeah, more stuff like this is going to happen, by the way. If you're in a state, I don't care if you're in as dark or red, gun freedom, the governor hands out a pistol to every new resident of the state. If you're in that state, if you're in Tennessee, if you're in Texas, if you're in Wyoming, I don't care where you are, and you think, no, our gun rights are good. Bullshit. Next time your state rally happens and they say, please come to our state rally, I'm going to see 22,000 people at every state gun rights rally from here forward. That's the bar. Not 2150, 22. Make it happen. That's my attitude. And P.S., I've put my money where my mouth is because I've been at Vermont gun rallies, I've been at PA gun rallies, and I was at the national one. Every time a state that I've lived in has had a gun rally, I have been there. So, get there. You stand around in the cold and talk to your buddy about the new head down rifle that you just bought or something. Like it's a like-minded group of people, right? There's worse places. Y'all go to the gun show or the gun store and y'all stand around and talk with each other for hours and don't buy nothing anyway. Just do it at the state capitol. That's all I'm saying. I could soapbox on this for an hour and 30 minutes. TJ, stop me.
Yeah. No, I got you. I got your back, buddy. So here's my thing. And this is where I am disappointed. So this is the wag of the finger, right? Kent, you kind of touched on it, but let's look at kind of the chain of events. So we had these bills that were proposed, mind you, months ago, and everybody got wrapped around the axle. And now you have 97% of the counties and municipalities across the state of Virginia that have stood up, held local, city, and county council meetings to say, no, we are going to vote to become a Second Amendment sanctuary. Newsflash, folks, you wouldn't even be having to have that conversation if you took the time to show up and vote. My biggest issue with not just gun owners, but generally conservatives is we are horrible about getting up off our ass and going to show up and vote or rally when the time comes, when it's appropriate and going to be more effective. So use that as an example of what you should be doing and what could happen to you. I was living in Virginia less than 10 years ago, And it was about as gun friendly as Tennessee is today, if not more so, right? Just to show you how fast the tides can turn. Well, there you have it. Virginia's a perfect example. Don't give me that bullshit of, oh, well, I would have gone to vote today, but unlike everybody else, I've got a job. Bullshit. I've got a job too, and that job comes with time off. And you know what? You can't be fired for taking time off to go exercise a constitutional right. Have fun taking that one to court with an employer. I'm sure you'll have no problem finding a decent lawyer to take that one up. So take that half a day off, go vote, and prevent that shit from nip it in the bud. Prevent it from happening before it becomes a problem. So other than that, again, fantastic job for those of you that did show up to the lobby. Kent, like you said, man, you know, I'm one of the guys that's been there and seen it. All the talk about Boogaloo, you know, keep it on the internet, because here's what I think is going to happen next. So they've already passed the laws. They've passed the red flag law, I think, yesterday. Shit's going to get real bad really quick. But people are going to see how bad it's going to get with these ridiculous laws. And they're either going to, challenge them in court, or because the founding fathers had a brain in their head, they kind of worked it out to where the state, you know, government in general can correct itself if we get involved. We're going to vote in, you know, they're going to vote in some new people. God willing, it'll be somebody with a brain in their head, and hopefully they will rip out any of those otherwise unconstitutional laws. At least that's what we can hope for. But it ain't going to happen if you don't get involved. I don't think anyone's going to want to intentionally start the Boogaloo, but it's always a possibility. I just pray that it doesn't come to that. So,
speaking of the Boogaloo, I spent the last year and a half not preparing for the Boogaloo and instead getting in shape. And I tried my plate carrier on for the first time in a year and a half, almost 2 years. And I had to take some serious slack out of that thing because there was a lot of slack in there, man. So maybe shut up about the Boogaloo and hit a treadmill or something. Like, I'm so tired of those Boogaloo memes. Meanwhile, like if you're posting Boogaloo memes and you can't shoot like a 90 B8 slow fire with your pistol, stop.
Shut up.
Just stop. Just please stop. Like,
you're over here thinking that you're Boba Fett when you're really Baby Yoda.
That's pretty much where we're at.
You ain't getting shit done.
Yeah, just stop.
Although anyway, that's probably a bad comparison because Baby Yoda is actually pretty badass with the Force and shit. So I think y'all get the point. Either way.
You think you're Boba Fett when you're really a stormtrooper.
Ah, there you go. See, this is why I hang out with fellow nerds, right?
That's it. So this is about that time in the show where we need to do our plugs. We need to pay the bills. We need to thank our advertisers. That shouldn't take too very long because we have none. Nobody likes us, but that's okay. So let's see. Plugs. Subscribestar is our newest avenue for you to be able to support our channel. Please check out the Subscribestar link in TJ's description below that he did such a great job at. We're going to be posting everything over there from a couple 5-minute dry fire videos to the thing TJ doesn't know he's doing yet, but he's going to be doing Southern cooking, various ways to make eggs and omelets. And
break out the cast iron skillets, folks. This shit's about to get real.
Right. So we're going to do a little cooking show over there. It's going to be great. So Subscribestar, it's under Sling'N Led Podcast on Subscribestar, so please go support us there. Right On Optics is our channel's optics sponsor / we are pro staffers with them. So for now, code TRamsey gets you 15% off at Right On Optics. I became a pro staffer late, and they don't like me, so I don't have a K Hauer. So use TRamsey for 15% off all your optics needs. The Right On Pistol Red Dot still doesn't suck. I still can't break it. And Lord knows I can break some things, so that's good. Get on over there, do that. Subscribe to the podcast. Sling'N Led Podcast is available on Spreaker, Stitcher, Apple, all those places. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, please. Follow TJ at the Lead Slinging Ginger, the ginger who slings the lead. And also check out his articles on the Gunpoint blog. TJ is our own little budding author over here. He wrote a couple love stories and some poems about some puppies and kitties and stuff. So if you go on the Gunpoint, you can learn all about that stuff. Actually, sadly enough, TJ wrote a timely article about why small of the back carry will get you killed in the streets. And then we have a video of a church shooting about a gentleman having some trouble with some small of the back carry, right? So check out what TJ's got over there. He's not just a pretty face, he's a hell of an offer too. Check that out. Follow me, Green Mountain Defense, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Again, TJ and I reactivated our Twitters because Boogaloo or something. I don't know. So check that out. And if you'd like to get on the range with me and learn how to not suck with your guns, greenmountaindefense.com/training is where you can find that. We've got 10 open enrollment classes over this summer, and I'm always available for private lessons and all that. So, non-mil, non-LE. I'm not a super SWAT sniper ninja guy, but I can get you ready with your handgun if that's, if you'd like to not suck in the Boogaloo.
You'll be less of a stormtrooper.
You'll be way less of a stormtrooper. That much I can promise you. That said, now that I just did the capitalistic NPR plug drive, Matt, where can people find everything that they need to find about Head Down and anything else you want to plug, sir?
Well, you can find us at hdfirearms.com. You can find us on Instagram, Head Down Arms, and you can find us on Facebook. And then you can also, if you are interested in maybe some guns that aren't Head Down Firearms, we also have ontargetshootingsports.com, which, great place to pick up some gear, talk to some folks, get my advice, which isn't worth a whole lot. So, yeah, check us out. Follow us on social media. We post silly things from time to time.
Yeah, seriously, they've got some they got some hams working in the shop, guys. Don't let him fool you. It's quite entertaining. So, anything else, Matt?
I think that's it. Thanks for having me on tonight, guys. This has been awesome.
Absolutely, brother. We're happy to have you. Kent, what'd you have for me, man?
I was just going to ask you, what do you got to plug and end? And
yeah, so
you want to talk about your BJJ that you just started?
Actually,
or what do you got?
I was going to. So, as some of you might know, I recently discovered that I'm out of shape. At least recently, at least as of this week, my son and I started taking Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu here at a local gym in Tennessee. The instructors are fantastic. I will be posting a link posting a video on that here in the near future because I come from a background of martial arts and wrestling, so I kind of know my way around the ins and outs, as it were, of selecting a gym that is appropriate for you. So plan on posting a video about that here in the near future. But I'll tell you what, folks, aside from making yourself more capable without a firearm and teaching you some of those hand-to-hand skills to better defend yourself, maybe even bully-proof your kids. Bullying is a big problem these days. Of course, a lot of them are emboldened by the internet with cyberbullying, but that doesn't mean that face-to-face bullying and pushing and shoving around doesn't still happen at school. So it's always good to have those skills and teaching your kids some responsibility. So that's why I am doing it with my son as well, to give him those skills. And you know what? Just get out and be more active. But aside from that, I'll tell you what, it has been a long time since I've rolled around on a mat and been as exhausted as I've been this past week. And I'll tell you what, I love every minute of it. So it's been a great time, and I'm really looking forward to continuing this journey. And I'll be bringing you guys along for the ride on my channel for Let's Sling'N Ginger. So stay tuned for more on that. Other than that, man, just getting ready for end of February. We got Modern Samurai Project coming into Nashville. Kent, you're going to be coming down and taking that class with me. Of course, you're really just chaperoning me because you've been through the class before. We've had Jedi on the podcast, fantastic instructor. But yeah, I need an adult. I need an adult.
You have no idea.
Yeah. So of course, Matt, again, thank you for coming out. We really appreciate you guys. You guys go check out Head Down Firearms. I wouldn't be as big of a proponent of them as I am if I would never lead you guys astray, right? So head on over, check them out. Small American-owned businesses are something that we love and cherish here, and especially when they're making a damn good product. So until then, when we see each other again, God bless you all. Take care of each other. And as always, get out and shoot.
Toodles.